Good morning. The August 19th, 2024 work session for the Douglas County Board of Commissioners will come to order. We welcome you here today. County Clerk, would you please take the roll for the record?
Yes, sir. Commissioner District 1, Ricky Dobbs, he is en route. Commissioner District 2, Whitney Kenner-Jones.
Present.
Commissioner District 3, Martin Raxton.
Present.
Chairman Phil Miller.
I'm here, thank you.
And Vice Chair Mark Alcaraz. He is actually absent today. He is attending an ACCG statewide leadership retreat. He was one of only 7 of state and county leaders selected to attend regarding the curriculum of newly elected commissioners.
Okay. Commissioners, are there any changes that need to be made to the agenda?
Yes, not Your Honor.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes, Chairman, I do. I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda and add a resolution authorizing the renovation and expansion of the Douglas County Public Health Facility and to incorporate this project as part of the county's reinvestment plan and capital improvement plan.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Do we need to, go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to say, I'll second that motion.
Okay, you second the motion. All in favor? All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Time limits, as a reminder,
Mr.
each
Chair.
commissioner will have 3 minutes to make remarks.
Okay.
And 2 minutes for rebuttal.
So I did have one other item as far as the
Oh,
agenda.
okay. All right, I'm sorry.
All right, no, thank you. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
recognizing
Thank
me. So I do have a question in regards to items number 19 and 20 in regards to the 2023-2024 budget approval. And I would ask the board to consider tabling those 2 discussions today until we have further time to go through line by line what those impacts are.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we table items 19 and 20 from today's meeting for further discussion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Same sign. For opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
So 19 and 20 is gone. Okay. Clerk, did we have anyone sign up for public comment?
Yes, sir. We did have one individual.
Okay.
Before I call you up, I'll just remind you, you'll have 3 minutes to address the board. Once your 3 minutes is up, we'll ask you to wrap up your comments. And when you get to the to the mic, please restate your name and your subject matter. Mr. Alex Blake.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Is this on? Should I use this?
Yeah, you have to talk directly into that thing.
Okay. I'm a little tall for it. So my name's Alex Blake. I'm here to talk about the moratorium on the Bear Creek Basin in Douglas County. I'm representing a seller that owns about 100 acres in the Bear Creek Basin, and I just had a couple questions about the moratorium. And I was told that y'all might have some answers for me if you're familiar with it. So I wanted to know when is I was told it was a 90-day moratorium, but I couldn't find out when it was actually supposed to end. So if any of y'all know.
We voted on it 30 days ago, is that right? This meeting before last? So about 60 days from now is my guess. Is that correct? We'd have a date?
October 23rd.
Okay.
Oh, okay, October 23rd, sir.
And what is the reason that it's in place currently?
What is the reason the moratorium has taken place?
Mm-hmm.
We needed to stop and look and develop a better plan for building in Douglas County. And we decided to start with the larger subdivisions. You could still build a subdivision with 30 houses or less if it's approved by the planning and zoning.
Okay. So in 60 days, is there going to be another meeting to review the moratorium or vote on it or anything?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
can just interrupt 1 second, two
Yes,
things.
please.
Number one, obviously, public comment is an opportunity for the public to express any comments or concerns, whether it's stuff on the agenda or things dealing with the county, the administration, the government, or anything else they want to talk about. Unfortunately, it is not an opportunity for questions to be asked and answered. The second thing is that the moratorium provides that it will end at the end of the 120 days or sooner if the board approves a zoning text amendment that would address the issues that were addressed in the moratorium.
120 days or 90 days?
90 days. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, you can make any other comment that you want to about it. You can't ask us questions, but you can call me after the meeting and I'll answer your questions as best I can.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you
Yes,
all
sir.
for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There were no other
I'm sorry?
individuals, there were no other individuals
No-
that
no
signed
others,
up.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the minutes, meeting minutes. Commissioners, please review the minutes before tomorrow's meeting. The financial report, please review the financial report for July and prepare to adopt the report during tomorrow's commission meeting. We will have a public hearing tomorrow to consider an amendment to the Douglas County Code of Ordinances regarding use of the National Incident Management System and a public hearing regarding the millage rate. Do we have some agenda items?
Yes, sir. I
Would you
can go ahead
please
and
read
start
it?
with those. Okay, we'll move on to grants. Number 8, authorization to accept the Safe Streets for All grant from the United States Department of Transportation in the amount of $500,000 with a 20% local match to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds. Amend the budget and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, and County Administration. Douglas County has been awarded $500,000 for a Transportation Safety Action Plan grant. This grant will allow us to perform a safety analysis on high-risk roadway systems across the county that are causing serious injury and fatal accidents. Once this study determines those high-risk roadway networks and intersections, we will then begin applying for competitive safety grants to fund the construction of those actual projects. With this planning grant, we will also recommend that once developed, this board puts forth a Vision Zero action plan to eliminate fatalities and serious injury accidents by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
I do have a question, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Good
Mr.
morning.
Raxon, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So, just curious, how long is the grant available for?
So the current grant, as soon as it encumbers, we have about 18 months to deliver an action plan.
Okay. And then for the 20% match of $100,000, was that already allocated as a line item in the 2016 SPLOST?
Yes, so there was a general safety funds allocated from 2016 SPLOST program,
Okay.
but not specifically for this grant. That's why this board action will allocate those funds towards this grant.
Okay. All right. So noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay. We'll move to business items number 9. Approval to accept signal maintenance responsibility from Georgia Department of Transportation for 4 locations on State Route 92 at Sunset Drive, Mack Road, Bowmore Road, Midway Road, and Pope Road with no impact to the budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. Douglas County DOT currently maintains all signals on State Route 92 except these 3. The general understanding with Georgia Department of Transportation is that Douglas County will eventually have ownership of State Route 92 and US 78 signals, and GDOT will maintain Highway 5 and Thornton Road signals. So these last 3 signals, once turned over to Douglas County, will allow us to better maintain and coordinate all of the signals on State Route 92. This has no impact to our budget, and we recommend your approval. Thank you.
Questions, comments? All right, thank you. Next.
Okay. Number 10, approval to award a task order to Michael Baker International, Inc. pursuant to RFQ 23-019 in connection with Highway 5 at Mason Creek and Alexander Parkway intersection improvements project in the amount of $278,638.01 to be funded from the 2016 SPLOST funds, amend the budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. The original project, Highway 5 at Berea Road intersection improvements, were funded through SPLOST 2016 program. The project went through a concept evaluation and received a Nobel recommendation given the cost to benefit analysis of that project. Therefore, an alternate need was identified for an intersection roughly 1 mile west of Highway 5 at Berea, which is Highway 5 at Mason Creek. We're recommending that we transfer or reallocate these funds towards this intersection to study the delay we're facing and the congestion due to the excessive turning movement and not having enough turn lanes at the intersection. Along with this Highway 5 and Mason Creek improvements, we're also proposing a left turn lane on Highway 5 at Alexander Parkway, which is roughly 0.1 miles further east of the intersection. This will eventually be an amendment to the original SPLOST 2016 list, and we're recommending your approval. Thank you.
Okay. Questions, comments? The turn lane at Alexander Parkway, that's coming out of Alexander onto 5 or going out onto 5 into Alexander?
Highway into Alexander.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Authorization to award a design contract to Place Services, Inc., PSI, pursuant to RFP 24-022 in connection with a DOT administration building project in the amount of $156,830 to be funded from SPLOST 2022, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Director Rana.
Thank you. DOT admin building is a proposed SPLOST 22 project. We have completed the evaluation process under Deputy Director of Procurement, Mr. Choice's leadership. With 5 responses submitted, the evaluation committee recommends that PSI be awarded the design contract for DOT admin building. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Approval of a car allowance agreement for Jacob Taylor, Chief Assistant Solicitor General, in the amount of $250 per day period, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Solicitor Compton.
I don't see her here this morning, but I can state that this is just a replacement for someone who had left.
Okay.
A car allowance of $250 a day?
No, per pay
A pay
period.
period.
Oh, it says pay, not day. I got you. Okay. All right, any questions or comments?
No, and I do believe that Solicitor Compton is in court right now, which is why she's not present this morning. And I did have the opportunity to discuss with her and can confirm what Clerk Watson said, that they are just changing the utilizer of this item and not the item itself. It will not have any impact to their budget and has no impact to our budget. And I would recommend that we approve it.
Okay. I may be from the old school, but I just have a hard time furnishing people a way to work that don't use the vehicle during the day. If it's something that you need to use on a daily basis, that's fine. But if I'm just providing you gasoline and...
Well, if I
Yes,
may
ma'am, please.
explain, so in the solicitor's office, at times in the district attorney's office, and in various other legal departments, they employ investigators. The car allowances permit those individuals to be able to reimburse themselves or keep from putting wear and tear on their own vehicles in the ordinary course of their job functions or duties. So they may have to travel to accident scenes, they may have to travel great distances to be able to interview witnesses, secure the presence of witnesses. So it's
I got you.
it's the example, I guess, of using a trash truck to go and collect trash. You wouldn't do it in your own car. You would have a vehicle furnished to you to do that, so. maybe not trash for victim advocates, but
Okay,
So
well,
it's
it
not
says,
just to and
it
from
says
the
solicitor,
courthouse.
not investigator.
that's just what they call them.
It sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not. It's just a philosophy that I have. I'm furnished a car with the county, and I turned it in, and I use my own gas to come to work. And I think we all should. Everybody out here in the community is furnishing their own way to work. And that's just my feelings, but yeah, you know, that's just one vote, so you've got a good chance. Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Authorization for the chairman to execute a part-time employment agreement with Kimberly Alexis to fill a vacant position as victim advocate for victims of traffic violators in the Solicitor General's office, to be funded through the Solicitor General's existing budget pending final legal review.
Again, yeah, again, this is to replace a vacant position.
Okay. Any comments or questions?
Yeah, just a
Yes, sir.
question. I know that the Solicitor General isn't here, but I just was curious, with the caseload increase, is a part-time position adequate? Or should this be reviewed as potentially a full-time recommendation?
Right.
So again, I know that the solicitor isn't here, but I'll just ask for us to take that back and have further conversation.
Right, but I guess she's asking for a part-time position, or?
That's my
Yes.
understanding, and I would just ask that this item not be on the consent agenda tomorrow, to give her an opportunity to come to the business meeting and be able to explain further what that need is.
Yep,
I'm good with that.
thank you.
Anyone else?
No.
Okay, next.
Approval for the Douglas County Fire Department to renew the annual Zoll Medical Corporation Preventive Maintenance Agreement in the amount of $33,014.25 to be funded by the fire department's budget, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Chief Allen.
Good morning,
Chief.
Chairman, Commissioners, County Administrator. It's that time of year for our preventive maintenance for the Zoll medical equipment that we have, and we're just asking for approval for the renewal of the annual contract.
Questions, comments? We're good, thank you, sir.
10-4.
Approval of an agreement for services contract with Nadine Dorsonville as facilitator, to be fully funded by the Juvenile Justice Incentive Grant Subgrant number Y25-8-011 at the hourly rate of $60, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Jamie Deprimont.
Howdy.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you doing? This is for a service provider who provides our evidence-based programming for our Juvenile Justice Incentive Grant. She's actually coming back from extended leave for her family, and so we're just renewing her contract.
Okay. Questions, comments?
No comments.
Thank you, sir.
Approval to amend the budget for the Livable Centers Initiative Grant funds previously approved for acceptance on 8/15/2023 in the amount of $116,000 for reimbursable grant funds to increase planning and zoning unincorporated funds for anticipations and appropriations, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review. Jill Hobson.
Morning.
Good morning. In August of last year, there was language missing from the agenda item when we were accepting to amend the budget, and we are just recommending approval for you guys to amend the budget for the grant funds.
Okay. Question?
No question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Authorization to approve a resolution granting signature authority for the Managing Director of Development Services or his designee to be able to sign on behalf of Douglas County for any and all documents related to the application, installation, connection, disconnection, and easements that will serve an existing county facility or for a facility that has been previously approved by the BOC. James Worthington.
Morning.
Good morning. Well read. As she said, this is basically for any kind of easement or connection for utilities and things to county facilities. Currently, we have to bring all of those back to the board for all of the projects. This would kind of streamline the process. only looking for this for existing county facilities or projects that are already approved by the board. So to get, water, power, sewer, those things connected to those buildings. If someone comes in looking for a personal easement or driveway easement or something of that sort across county property, that would come back to the board. This would just be to service existing facilities.
Okay. Questions, comments?
Yeah, just a quick question, Mr. Chairman. So is the savings in the time and just efficiency of the approval, or is there any financial savings also?
It's just timing. So like the fire station, I know y'all had approved some training trailers the other day. The next day we got an easement from Georgia Power or Greystone to hook up power to it. Well, that's what stemmed this. So, we have to wait the 2 weeks to bring it to the board, and there may be another one that comes tomorrow for the water or something, and then the 2 additional weeks kind of thing. So
Okay.
just time.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? We're good, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 18, approval to award a contract to Colliers Engineering Design, Inc. for land survey for Winston Park in the amount of $32,500 pursuant to solicitation number 24-020, and authorize the chairman to sign all related documents pending final legal review.
Morning, Ted.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, and Administration. Solicitation for the land survey for Winston Park went out in June. We were able to review those. We received 8 proposals back for those for the site survey, and we are seeking authorization to move forward with Colliers Engineering Design in the amount of $32,500.
Questions, comments? We're good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
22?
Okay. We skipped 19 and 20, so this will be 21.
Okay, 21.
Resolution granting authorization to establish the Douglas County Opioid Abatement Advisory Council pending final legal review.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Commissioners, County Administration. I am here today requesting the establishment of the Douglas County Opioid Abatement Advisory Council. The purpose of this council will be to advise the Board of Commissioners on how we administer the funds that we receive through the opioid settlements. As we all know, there has been some national settlements that have been reached with major manufacturers and distributors and dispensers of opioids. And the Board of Commissioners has been entrusted with ensuring that those funds are spent in a way that will benefit our community. And so we are requesting to establish this authority to help advise the board on how to spend the funds. There will be 7 members on the council, and those members will consist of everything from someone from our Sheriff's Department, someone from the Board of Health, a person who has suffered addiction, someone from the DFACS Board, a designee of the Douglas County Superior Court as appointed by the Chief Judge, and a member of the Community Services Board. So that's a wide array of people with expertise who will be able to adequately advise the Board of Commissioners on the use of these funds.
Okay.
And I'll yield for questions.
Questions, comments? Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just a quick question. Was there also consideration for a Board of Commissioner appointment to the board?
I think as we were looking at this and making a determination of who to appoint to the board, the purpose of this board is to advise the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
So we thought it was wise just to keep it to a select group of subject matter experts and people who've lived this experience, who can adequately come to the board with a realistic recommendation on what they feel like you need to do. And as a board, you can take that and then make your decision about how you want to move forward.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
That it?
Yep.
Anyone else? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now 22.
Now 22 is appointment of Terry Kilgore to the Cemetery Preservation Commission, effective immediately. There are vacant positions on this board, and this would represent District 2.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
No, I think that Terry's going to do a fantastic job for District 2.
Perfect. Any more questions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and we are looking for a District 3 appointee, so we're in that process.
Okay, thank you. I got your message about the one you had, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other commissioner comments?
Do we need to go over the item? I guess it would be 23, the resolution.
Yes.
And so if I may, Chairman.
Go right ahead, please.
So I'm proposing that we add a resolution to the agenda and recommending approval as part of our reinvestment plan in Douglas County. The Douglas County Public Health Department is one of our largest service providers in the county, and Lisa's here if you want to step forward. But their building has probably not been renovated or touched since 1990. The services that they provide run the gamut from mental health to, day-to-day public health needs, just trying to figure out what's going on. And so I think it's important, while it's good that we have public-private partnerships with various different entities, that we need to take care of our own in-house service provider as well. They absolutely need to be brought into the 20th century at a minimum, but hopefully to the 21st century in terms of their building, so that they can truly service our residents. Is there anything that you wanted to add on that issue?
Very well said. Thank you very much. I would just reiterate, this building was built about 30 plus years ago, and we've in that time have seen a dramatic increase in the population in Douglas County and the demand for public health services and the scope of public health services that's provided to our residents. And so we've done our best over the last 30 years to renovate within the footprint that we have. But we just have outgrown it. We've got folks in closets trying to work, and it's just not big enough, and it's not providing the level of service that we want to provide to Douglas County residents.
And I would just add to that, too, that you all were our championship organization during COVID-19 in its time, that those tireless efforts and the hard work of your employees gets recognized, and so they should have a facility that's conducive to the caliber and quality of work that they provide to Douglas County residents. And so I definitely think we need to go ahead and start looking towards improving as best we can.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just a quick question here, and I see where we're asking to allocate up to $4 million in capital funds. Would that come out of the 2025 budget, and which budget is that, the general fund budget? And if I missed that, I apologize if I did miss it.
I think the best person to answer that would be our county administrator.
Yeah, currently, Commissioner, we contemplate using fund balance capital to cover that cost in the, when that project comes on board.
Okay, capital. Okay, so again, is that something we're contemplating for 2025? Just trying to get from a timing standpoint.
I'm sorry, I can't hear your question.
Just from a timing standpoint, are we contemplating
Yeah,
that
well,
for the
again,
2025
I think the
fiscal year?
I'm sorry, let me clarify. I think the project is, the resolution's seeking authorization for us to begin the process.
Okay.
I don't anticipate that money having to be available until sometime late 2025, potentially 2026.
Okay. Thank you.
Because we're in the initial stages of doing site evaluation, but we just need to do that in partnership with the county since you own the buildings and the land.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir, Mr.
I just got a question. So we own the building, but the services that you provide, has there, like, I was just wondering could we have gone so long without being, with you flying under the radar, as far as knowing that the services needed, maintenance and stuff on the building or expansion or anything like that? What's the partnership that you all have with the county, if anybody, up until now?
So our staff works really closely with property management, and they've been spectacular whenever we've needed to renovate or fix something like an HVAC unit or the roofing. It's just we are used in public health, we're used to doing our very best with what we're given, and so we've just tried to work within the footprint that we've had.
That was a very diplomatic way of saying, in public health, they are the redhead stepchildren of most counties. They provide their services quietly, and because they're not a squeaky wheel, people don't pay attention. They are used to being told no. They have to scrimp and scrape. A lot of the work that they provide is done through grant funding. donations, things that they get from outside entities, and I think that it's time that we change that. They provide such a service, we need to pay attention to them. They shouldn't always have to come and ask. We should be cognizant of the services that they are providing.
Thank you.
Okay, two more questions. One would be, or this also would be, I guess, the county administration. Are y'all a private company?
No.
So how can we get them a part of, like, you know, with the committees, to where we're in the know and have somebody to come up here so we can kind of gauge and figure out what all is needed there? Because this is my first time ever hearing anything about the public health, the building itself, and that you all are a part of something that we could help and kind of play a part in.
I think that, I'm sorry.
Please go ahead. No, please go ahead.
I think that in my experience, people forget that public health is a part of public safety. And so a lot of focus gets put on the sheriff's department, the police department, the fire department, and they don't recognize that the services that the public health department provide are under public health, but they're never included in those committee meetings. They're not encompassed in that service. A lot of times they get put either with community services, which I guess tangentially makes sense, but I think as a board that's probably something that we need to take under advisement, because my position would be, because of what they do in terms of responses to natural disasters, responses to endemics and pandemics, that they should be included in our public safety conversations, because then they would be a line item to get appropriate funding.
Right, because I was gonna say that is one big thing, because if it's public, if you're a part of public safety, out of all the meetings I've been in public safety, I haven't seen a representative or had a line item mentioned about public health, because that's just as important as anything else.
So Commissioner, I'm happy to have our representatives come and meet with any of the committees that you all want. We regularly present, first of all, your chair sits on our Board of Health, right, and makes those decisions about public health in Douglas County. We also, I usually come to the Board of Commissioners retreat each year when you all are doing budget preparation, and make kind of the case for what services we're looking forward to in the new year and what we may need from you. And that's where you have seen that regular allocation that you all provide to us for operations. And then we've worked under the radar with your property management just to keep our facilities appropriate with what we were given and functional. So we have, you may recall, probably starting about 2 years ago, we began talking about how we would want to look at our facility in the coming years, because we felt we were outgrowing it. And it's just, it wasn't the right time. You know, we had a little pandemic that kind of put us off a little while, and then we were busy trying to get back into our traditional public health services post-pandemic. So that is probably why we were circling the wagons with what we were trying to do, and not as visible to you all as we could be. So I'm happy to come and talk and tour you around our facilities and explain some of our services. And you're right, I appreciate the advocacy from the third leg of the public safety stool. You'll hear that in National Public Health speak. And by the way, Commissioner, if you don't have your MPH, maybe we need to talk about an honorary MPH for you, because you're being a great advocate for us, so we appreciate that. But we have often, you know, the pandemic was one thing, but we've worked closely with your emergency management services and all your public safety folks, with our EP&R, our emergency preparedness and response staff, on exercises as well as direct responses. And so that's an ongoing interaction, I'd say probably weekly or bi-weekly, that our staff has with your public safety staff. And then the rest of it is just we're working with Wellstar Douglas, with private providers in the community to do what we need to do.
Okay, and my final question would be, because we would be contributing $4 million in capital funds. How much will y'all? I understand y'all will be contributing.
So I can't commit that to you right here, but I will tell you that we're prepared to talk with our Board of Health in September, and initial reaction is, or initial assessment is, that we may have $1 million to $1.5 million in reserves that we could contribute to the project. But again, this is something that we'll have to review with our Board of Health and the financials because the only thing that they approved this fiscal year was for us to put aside some funds to help with a site evaluation and to start to work with you all with a site evaluation.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Chairman. Now you.
Anyone else? Just so you know, the chairman of the board is part of their board, and this was born in one of those meetings, and I brought it to the commissioners, and Commissioner Jones volunteered to head it up and make sure that everything happened after I'm gone, so or maybe even before, but there is communication, and yes, we own the buildings, and yes, we're responsible for them, and yes, if we're going to grow the health department, we're responsible for that too. So,
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Do we have any other commissioner comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have two commission comments. So the first one being, I would like to get an update in our next meeting in regards to the ARPA funding and how the program is going, and specifically with the vendor, Landmark Consulting. How are things moving and progressing with the program and initiative? So I believe that the contract is going to be coming up for renewal here pretty soon, so we'd like to get a status update on how things are progressing there.
Okay, we'll get you that. We believe that with the new hires that we've had in the last year, that we can do that in-house. Whether you agree with that or whether the board agrees with that, that's something for discussion. But we think we can save the county about $400,000 a year by doing that if we're successful.
Okay.
And the jury is still out on that. So.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
And then the second item, and again, in regards to the 2024 committee assignments for standing committees. Again, we are looking, and I understand that the Pension and Benefits Committee has been consolidated into one committee at this time. So I'd just like to formally be recognized as the chair for that committee, and just wanted to confirm that the chairman is still serving as the vice chair of the committee, so we can get those meetings on the calendar here in short order.
Okay. Who, excuse me, because I forgot, who's the chairman of that committee?
It would be the District 3 Commissioner, Martin Raxton.
Okay, well, I think we ought to probably do that then, okay?
Okay, all right. And then you are also looking to stay and serve as the vice chair on that as well, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm honored, yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all that I have at this time.
Anyone else? Do we need to go into executive session?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will,
To discuss which items?
I'm sorry?
You got to tell Attorney Barnes which items you want to discuss. I assume all four, legal.
Yes, and personnel.
And personnel, no real estate.
No real estate. No cybersecurity.
Thank you.
Okay, we will adjourn to executive session.
Can we have a motion, Chairman?
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of going into executive session, raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. Thank you, folks, for coming.